Good afternoon and welcome. A reminder to media on the line, please press *1 to enter the queue. You will be limited to one question and one follow-up. With that, I will hand it over to Minister of Finance, Selina Robinson.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone for joining us here today on Family Day. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that I am speaking to you today from the territory of the Lekwungen peoples, the Songhees, and Esquimalt nations. Tomorrow, we'll announce the details of Budget 2022. And while you'll have to wait for tomorrow for the details, I can say that Budget 2022, that we are making investments to build a stronger BC where no one is left behind. As we continue to respond to the effects of the pandemic, we are building on our strengths to prepare for the challenges and the opportunities of tomorrow. Last week, our government shared our economic plan, a plan that provides investments to grow BC's life sciences, manufacturing and agricultural sectors, continue our commitment to environmental, social, and governance values, support reconciliation through economic development. Tomorrow, with Budget 2022, we will be making investments in building a stronger environment for the future, a stronger economy for everyone, and a stronger society by putting people first. We have been through a lot together, and I'm not just talking about the dual health emergencies that we continue to face. The past few years have clearly demonstrated the destructive effects of climate change. The heat dome and fires in the summer and the atmospheric rivers and flooding this fall are a clear signal that climate change is here. And as government, we are committed to ensuring people and communities have the resources that they need to face this challenge. Among other investments in tomorrow's budget, we will continue fighting climate change while also ensuring that we can protect people and communities across the province. We've all seen how the severity of wildfires has intensified in the face of climate change. It is substantially increasing the impact on people's lives. Budget 2022 is investing in a more proactive approach to protecting people and communities. And so, one significant investment you'll see tomorrow is new funding to create a year-round BC wildfire services. And I'll be able to share more details on this funding tomorrow. But this is a fundamental change. It's a real shift that will deliver BC wildfire service from a reactive to a proactive approach by moving to a year-round workforce. It will ensure that BC Wildfire Service has trained staff able to both prepare for and respond to future wildfires. This approach will deliver all pillars of emergency management: prevention and mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. It's an acknowledgement of what we have seen with BC's wildfire season starting sooner and ending later each year. And it's an investment. It's an example of the kind of changes we need to make, the kind of changes that we will make to strengthen our defenses while we continue the fight against climate change. We know that investments in prevention and preparedness will help to protect people, communities, and businesses from future climate-related disasters. More details will be released tomorrow as part of Budget 2022, but this is a significant investment in the BC Wildfire Service. And it's a significant investment in building a stronger province economically, environmentally, and socially. Like everything our government is doing, it's about investing in a stronger BC where no one is left behind. Now, I will have more to say about this and all Budget 2022 investments tomorrow, but I'm happy to take your questions today, right now.
Thank you very much. A reminder to reporters on the line, please press *1 to enter the queue. You will be limited to one question and one follow-up. Our first question today comes from Eva Yuguen, CBC.
Hi, Minister. In regards to the BC Wildfire Service investment, will any similar investments be made in the River Forecast Centre? You mentioned the impact of flooding as well, and we've seen some reports that the River Forecast Centre has been understaffed for a number of years, and so will we see similar investment in that service as well?
You'll certainly see lots more details in the budget tomorrow, but what I will say today is that we have all been witnessing the impacts of climate change. We know that it's here, and we know that we need to be making more investments so that we are better prepared and making sure that everyone who calls BC home is safe.
Eva, do you have a follow-up?
I do. We've seen with the removal of most restrictions with regards to COVID-19 that seems like public health is moving towards more of an endemic response. Would you say that tomorrow's BC budget reflects that endemic situation, or is this still a pandemic budget?
We've been there for British Columbians since this pandemic hit all of us in March of 2020. And as a government, we've responded accordingly, and we're going to continue to respond accordingly, regardless of what the pandemic throws at us.
Next question comes from Richard Zussman, Global News.
Minister, are you surprised with how quickly BC's economy has bounced back through the pandemic?
Hi, Richard. I think back over 2020 and then 2021 and putting together budgets, and none of us were able to predict what was ahead of us. And as a government, we've been responsive. Seeing the British Columbians do the right thing. Donning masks, keeping distance, having their bubble, rolling up their sleeves to get vaccinated. All of these things that British Columbians have done have helped move us forward. And I'm sure that we can continue to count on British Columbians to keep doing the right thing.
Richard, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, is the fast recovery, and as you're aware, forecasters are saying that our economy is bouncing back faster than almost anywhere else, and does that allow you to then reinvest back in British Columbians? Like, the contribution that you allude to that people have done, doing the right thing as you describe, is that then, are people now going to get a payback in terms of the province being able to invest more money because the work they did helped our economy recover?
All of this matters. All the things that we have all been doing has made a difference for us here in British Columbia. And we need to remember, we started off in a really good place. With the balanced budget, we've had a diverse economy. We were already in a good place when the pandemic hit, and we made choices to invest in people. And by making those investments in people, we've been able to keep things going. So keeping schools open, keeping childcare, available, has allowed us to keep our economy running. And that's because, people have been doing the right thing and government has been making good choices.
Next question goes to Binder Sajan, CTV.
Hi, Minister. Just wondering, as you look at this budget, the recovery, and just the next couple of years, how big a risk do you think the labor shortage is?
Hi, Binder. So it's one of the items that has certainly come up, not just here in British Columbia, but certainly across the country. There's certainly lots of conversation about labor shortage, but it's not anything new. We have known this for a long time, that this would be happening. And that's why you've seen, as a government and the economic plan, investing in making sure that people had the skills that they need for the future. You're going to keep seeing more of that from this government because we know that we need to be prepared for the future. We know that there's 1 million job openings that we're going to be seeing in the years ahead, and we need to be ready, and we're going to get there.
Binder, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, blending a passion of mine with politics and maybe the budget, which is your passion. What can we expect out of your shoes tomorrow?
They'll be on my feet. I will have shoes on my feet.
We have time for one more question today. We'll go to Les Lane, Times columnist.
Thanks, Minister. Are you going to have a price tag on the assorted natural disasters over the past year?
Sorry, can you say that one more time? It came out a bit garbled.
Oh, sorry. Is there going to be a price tag tomorrow on the heat dome and the fires and floods and whatnot?
Well, as you saw today in today's announcement, you're seeing government being very focused on making sure that we are better prepared for climate change. We need to be keeping people and communities safe, and that's what you're seeing today, and you'll see more of that tomorrow as part of Budget 2022.
Les, do you have a follow-up?
And over the course of the last 2 years or so, we've gone from a balanced budget basically to, I guess we won't know the full figure, but at least $10 billion in debt. It's all entirely due to the pandemic, I guess. Are we expecting another deficit budget tomorrow?
So you'll see tomorrow, but again, I want to just point out that British Columbians have been doing such an excellent job of keeping things going, and as a government, we've made investments all the way along so that we could keep as much of the economy open as possible, and that's put us in a really good position. Certainly, when you compare us across the nation, British Columbia is in a really good place.
Thank you very much, everyone. That's all we have time for today. That concludes today's availability.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.